Château de Versailles is located in Versailles, in Yvelines, France. It has been on the UNESCO's World Heritage List for 30 years and is one of the most beautiful achievements of the 18th century French art. King Louis XIII used to hunt on the same grounds that the Palace of Versailles was built. In 1623 he built a hunting lodge, which was the first building of the Château de Versailles. Versailles became the palace of Louis XIII's son, Louis XIV, the Sun King. It was said he boasted of himself, saying, "L'État c'est moi," which means, "I am the state." In 1682, King Louis XIV transformed and expanded on the castle, bringing the court and government of France to Versailles. In the 17th century, the Hall of Mirrors was referred to as La Grande Galerie, or the Grand Gallery. The hall was designed by Mansart, and the paintings were done by a French artist by the name of Charles Lebrun. Economical success is demonstrated by the dimensions and quantity of the 357 mirrors that decorate the 17 arches opposite to the 17 corresponding windows in the hall. Mirrors at this time were a luxury in France. The Hall of Mirrors attaches the King's Grand Apartment to the Queen's Grand Apartment through the War Room, which is the north entry, and the Peace Room, which is the south entry. The construction of the Royal Chapel was completed near the end of Louis XIV's life in 1710 by Mansart's son, Robert de Cotte. Unfortunately, Mansart was unable to see the end construction of the chapel due to his death in 1708. The chapel was the last building to be constructed of the Château de Versailles. After the 1830 Revolution, Louis XV's cousin, Louis Philippe, was proclaimed King of the French. In 1833, he decided to put Versailles to a different use. He withdrew its status as a royal residence and transformed the chateau into a museum. Being a lover of history, he decided to bring together here all the painted, sculpted, drawn, and engraved images illustrating events or personalities of the French history. He wanted to celebrate all glories of France. Today, the Palace of Versailles is one of France's many national monuments.
Red outline borders the gardens and makes up 800 hectares of land, and it took 40+ years to complete the vast majority of it. Each king pictured here played a part in the development of Versailles and is now a World Heritage Site. Each king pictured here played a part in the development of the gardens, and it is now a World Heritage Site. Louis XIV finally finalized every inch of what was to go in the garden, handpicking types of plants and the theme as well. Louis XV and XVI both contributed as well, adding improvements that suited their needs and desires. André Lenotre, a master gardener of his time, drew up the original designs of the gardens. Although changes were made by other architects, most of his original design still stands today. And Jules Hardouin Mansart, first architect appointed by King Louis XIV, a rival to Notre, also designed several of the structures located within the Garden of Versailles. The next few slides will outline some of the many features to the garden. The Grand Canal, built from 1668 to 1679, measures in length 1.6 kilometers long. Designed and excavated by Notre, the canal was used by the kings, especially Louis XIV, to sail boats on. The Republic of Venice even sent 2 gondolas and gondoliers to Versailles for the king's use. Throughout the gardens, Apollo and other solar imagery is present within the fountains. 1668, the Apollo fountain was constructed in place of an already existing swan fountain. The fountain was inspired by the legend of Apollo, the sun god and emblem of King Louis XIV. Constructed by the Marcy brothers in 1670, the Latona fountain was inspired by Ovid's Metamorphoses and represents the story of Apollo's mother protecting her children from peasants. There are a total of 50 fountains throughout the gardens, each with their own theme and garden. Many parterres, or flower bed/pool, are located throughout the garden. 2 water parterres, constructed in 1685 adjacent to the west side of the palace, were designed by Notre. These 2 large rectangular pools reflect the sunlight and light up the Hall of Mirrors. Throughout the garden are also many flower parterres, with special designs, including some with the fleur-de-lis. Another special feature is the Royal Walk, also called the Green Carpet, which was present before the construction of Versailles as we know it. Measuring 335 meters by 40 meters wide, the green carpet was gradually enlarged by Notre throughout the years of development. The long path is adorned by 12 statues and 12 vases placed in symmetrical pairs along the length of it, and it also has paths that lead off to other places in the garden. The Orangerie by Jules Hardouin Mansart was constructed in 1684 and is overlooked by the chateau. Some trees are over 200 years old, and they are kept indoors here in winter before being spread during the summer on its flower bed.
The Grand Trianon was constructed by Jules Hardouin Mansart in 1687 by request of King Louis XIV to escape his court life with his mistress. Originally, it was called the Marble Trianon, in reference to the large marble pilasters that were present in the peristyle. The peristyle links the courtyard to the gardens. It was said that visitors could walk from the courtyard into the gardens without even noticing. Napoleon Bonaparte was one of the many famous visitors that the Grand Trianon housed. The Trianon has beautiful gardens surrounding it. Every room in the Grand Trianon has a view of the gardens. The Buffet d'Eau is a large fountain, also called the Cascade, that was present in the gardens. The northern wing of the Grand Trianon is known as the Trianon sous Bois. The Trianon was too small to house all of the king's family, so an extension on the house was necessary. It was originally created by the same constructor of the Grand Trianon, Jules Hardouin Mansart, in 1708. This wing also contained a chapel where the king's second daughter was married. The wing was later converted into a presidential residence by Charles de Gaulle in 1963. The Petit Trianon was created by request of King Louis XVI for his, at the time, mistress. Eventually it was given to his young wife, Marie Antoinette, as a present. Marie Antoinette was the Queen of France from 1755 to 1793. She was disliked by many French people and was seen as promiscuous and an unwise money spender. The Petit Trianon was Marie Antoinette's private getaway. Nobody could come here without her invitation. It is here that Marie could escape from the king's court and shake off the burdens of royal responsibilities. She would often stage theatricals with her friends in the theater inside the Petit Trianon. This was the queen's place of ease and leisure, and she commanded privacy here. Marie Antoinette ordered the construction of her hamlet in 1783. Her hamlet was essentially an 11-house farm spread out around the small lake. Each house had its own little garden, and fruit trees such as cherry and apple trees were seen around her hamlet. The animals on the farm supplied the food for the kitchens of the palace. Refreshments Dairy was a small building where the queen could taste cheeses and creams that had been created by her cows. The gardens that surrounded the hamlet and the Petit Trianon were more of an English style compared to the typical French gardens of Versailles. Meandering paths, hills, and streams were seen in Marie's hamlet.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, one moment, would you capture it like Louis, or just let it slip? Yo.
Louis's mind was ready, knees strong, arms were steady. There was a lodge in Versailles already. Dad's old hunty, his homies, architects, builders, gardeners are ready to draw plans, but they keep on resetting what he wrote down. The old babe without sound, palace wings built out to the north and south, grand gardens up, flowers like holy wow, fountains count 50. What up? Blow, snap back to reality. Oh, it costs money. Oh, only 18. We stoked and getting no changes. Live it up easy. Yo, Louis has it. He put his whole lifetime in this. It don't matter. He's dope. Be like him and get stoked. Apollo themes that we know. When you go to stay, see the water show. Let's turn back to the grand. Oh, yo, take a breath. Finally, you better go. Capture this moment and hope it don't pass you.
You better lose yourself in the splendor, the awesome. You own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot, do not miss your chance to go. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself in the splendor, the awesome. You own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot, do not miss this chance to go. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime, yo. If you had one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, one moment, would you capture it like Louis, or just let it slip?